So Ingeborg mentioned this a little bit before, but I want to make this its own separate category. When it comes to being sick in the US with work, there are some companies that require you to get like a doctor's note proving that you were sick. So then instead of being home and resting, you have to go out to the doctor, and I hate that. Because like, you're not a child, you know?
Yeah.
You know when you're sick.
And sometimes you just need maybe a few days so you prevent getting like a flu, or if you're feeling like you should be home resting because of something, then your company should trust you. That's what I had some issues with here in the UK as well. I felt like I wasn't trusted, even though actually here, like what I think we were going to talk about right now is that I didn't require a doctor's note for the
that is
first
what I was going to talk about.
8 days. I think you could be sick
I was
for
told
8
1
days.
week.
Yeah.
So about that.
Yeah. In Norway, it's the same. I think you can be away for 12 days without a doctor's note.
Well, wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
See, once again,
Maybe
Norway
8 or 12.
has the most, and then the UK, and then the US. With Yo Sushi, I actually, they kind of yelled at me a bit because I was so used to the opposite end of things that I would come into work sick. They would look at me and be like, go home. Why are you here? Like, what are you doing? In the US, if you're sick, you still go to work and you just soldier on through it. And that's what a good worker does. I have a question for Ingeborg that we actually haven't discussed previously. In the US, when you have like any type of office job, you get your own cubicle and your own space. The company, the recruiting company that I worked for was an international company, so I got to speak to some of my coworkers that were in different offices all throughout the US and then all throughout the world. And the London office was very, very different. So I want to know what your experience is with this. In corporate offices in London, everybody sits around a table and your space is just your chair and your phone and your stuff in front of you, but you're all at a table. And for me, that would be like very distracting. I feel like, I don't know, I would be on the phone with somebody and then I would hear somebody else's conversation and like, I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's what we did. So we
had all on one table?
Yeah, we were 6 people at one table. So yeah, it's like a desk. You have a desk, but it forms into like one big table. So you have 3 people there and 3 people there, and we're facing each other like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but we have like little walls, but basically it's like just on the desk. So here's your chair, so you would be kind of like almost touching the person beside you. There's nothing like a wall or anything between you. So yeah, you have to kind of phase out the conversation that's going around you, because this is also a call center, so there are like 50 people on the phone with people at any one time. So
we were at a bar when I first started going to uni here, and all of the European people were sitting like right up next to each other, and they had all just pretty much met. We weren't good friends at that point. And then all of the Americans had like space between themselves, and like our houses are bigger in America and we have our own cubicles in the office. Like, I feel like Americans are just used to like space.
Well, Norwegians are too. Well, where are these European people from?
Mostly mostly Spain and France and yeah.
Because Norwegians are Europeans too, but we don't have that thing. We're very like private.
In the US, minimum wage depends on what state you're living in. Right now, they're going through something where everybody is doing a fight for 15, because in the US, or in New Jersey where I'm from, the minimum wage is like $7.35 or something like that, and nobody can actually live off of that. The minimum wage is not a living wage. And if you're a server in New Jersey, the minimum wage doesn't apply to you. The minimum wage for a server is $2.13, and you don't get any of that because that goes towards taxes. So when you're a waitress or a waiter or anybody in the US, you get a check to show that you're getting paid, but it will say $0.00 because all of it goes to taxes. And then you get tips, but you're also supposed to pay the government for the tips that you receive. You're supposed to get taxed on those as well. But here, waitresses also make the minimum wage. So in Scotland, every single year, the minimum wage goes up with inflation. In different states in the US, the minimum wage hasn't increased in like 7 years. And meanwhile, rent increases every single year. Student loans are sky high because every single year it increases by thousands and thousands of dollars if you go to university in the US or college or whatever. Here, the minimum wage also depends on your age bracket, which I'm not too big of a fan of, because like if somebody had to break away from their family and be on their own, or they're helping support their family, like you don't know the individual circumstances. So what is it in Norway?
Well, it depends on your field of work. So if you're a construction worker, you get more than if you work in a shop, like a grocery shop, I think.
Okay. Do you feel like people can live off that if they're working 40 hours a week?
Probably.
I don't know how it is in Norway, but here it's much more common to continue living with your parents to an older age than in the US. In the US, Joe moved out of his house when he was 18, gone, and never moved back in. After I did college, I tried moving back in with my mom to try to save money. She really wanted me to, but I couldn't. I lasted 9 months and then I ended up moving out because, you know, the amount of independence that you have when you're gone and then coming back, it's hard to come back.
I think it's the same in Norway. I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but all the friends that I have from high school, they moved out pretty quickly. Well, I have a friend, she stayed with her parents, but it's like uncommon and strange, a little bit strange if you're 30 and still living with your parents.
Yeah, so that's the same in the US. Like, I would say 25, 26, when you hit that number, if you're still living with your parents at that point, unfortunately, it's looked down upon for the most part. There's definitely people that I know that continue living with their parents until they're like 30, but you can see it on American sitcoms. Like, there's the joke about people living in the basement.
That's so strange when you get so little pay, you can't even pay for your own flat.
Yeah, so that's the problem now in the US is, you know, all of these articles are coming out talking about how 30-somethings aren't getting married, aren't having kids, aren't buying houses, and meanwhile the 30-somethings are like, hey, we still have crippling debt and we can't afford to do any of that right now. So yeah, it's a social thing going on right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe for more.
You can also follow Dova's Instagram.
Yes, I will link Dova's Instagram in the video description. It's freaking adorable, because who wouldn't want to follow this cutie? And comment below about your experiences if you've worked in different countries and kind of the differences that you've noticed with that too. And we'll see you next time. Bye!